When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliatt with the Sister Sauce.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Sister Sauce. I am Tina Gilliatt, and this is my lovely sister, Priscilla Babin. And we're
Hello.
excited to be here with you guys this week again. We are now in the second half of a year of podcasting. Woohoo!
Shocking.
Yeah, we're going to have to think
Time
of a
flies.
special edition, anniversary edition for our 1 year anniversary. What do you think about that, Priscilla?
That would be fun.
I think it would be fun.
Have to figure out what we're going to talk
We can
about.
get our two listeners to join,
Interview them.
interview our two fans. That's not true. We actually have 3 or 4 fans, but
Whole crowd.
really. Lots of fun, lots of fun. Well, we have some good stuff to talk to you about today. Real excited. With anything going on for you this weekend, Priscilla?
Well, over the weekend, not too much happening as far as just usual stuff with the kids and things. But right now, today I've got the plumber and the electrician working on my bathroom. So
Oh, yes.
lots of
Remodeling continues, huh?
mhm, lots of
That's
drilling and stuff.
exciting. I'm
Yep,
I'm happy for you though. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to see it.
I
Yeah.
know. You got anything going on?
I'm hoping it's a relatively quiet weekend, although this weekend I am moderating a candidate showcase for Toastmasters District 68. They are about to have their elections for district leaders, and I was asked to be the moderator for the showcase, which is kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. And that's the main thing. And we had some stuff going on this week ourselves with our electric being out on Monday,
Mm,
as you recall. We thought everything in our house was breaking, and it turned out to be one little plate on our electrical panel that was causing all the problems. But
mm.
thankfully, we got that worked out, and Entergy was very helpful, and it's all good now. Hallelujah.
Hooray.
Woohoo! Yes. So this week is behind us and we're moving forward.
Moving
And
onward
today
and
we,
upward.
yes, and today we are recording this wonderful podcast that we're going to talk about Earth Day. But
Mhm.
until then, I want to hear what your hot topic is today.
My
What is
hot
your hot
sauce.
sauce?
My hot sauce today is I have this in my mind because I have my wonderful contractor who is working on my bathroom, and many things keep being discovered that were done wrong by the previous
Yeah.
people who built my house or built part of my house. I have an addition on my house, and so the addition is revealing many secrets, many unfortunate secrets about ways that it wasn't my contractor at the time. It was the guy who owned the house, and he added an addition onto the house, and we're discovering that he cut a lot of corners and did a lot of stuff that was not up to code. So things are having to be replaced or reinforced or whatever to make up for that. And so my hot sauce today is if you have to hire if you have to have a house, make sure it gets inspected real well first. Ours was, but I guess he hit it really well, the things that where he cut corners. But if you go to get any work done on your house and you need to hire a contractor, make sure that they are licensed and get referrals. Make
Licensed and
sure,
bonded and all that good stuff.
and make sure they come with recommendations, and that you know that they are above board and
And if you're in
yeah.
the local area, we have a recommendation.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Sure do. Yep. So, yep. Should I shout them out?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Uh, casting contractor, casting is the name. Is it casting contractors? Now I'm like blanking. But you can call them, you can Google them, look them up on Facebook, and they're great. They are fantastic, and
And we don't just say that because we're related to
yeah, no, it's
them.
true, but great people and just very honest and do, great work, do their best, always keeping me informed every step of the way. I cannot complain once, so
That's
they're doing a
awesome.
great job, and they want to do the best that they can, and that's what makes a good contractor, wanting
Yep.
to do things right and not cut corners. And I
Well,
don't want to
very
even get
good.
into all what was done originally on this house.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
good.
that's good advice. Get a good contractor and also get your house inspected before you buy it. And we're going to be in the market for buying a house as soon as we sell this one. So I'll
Mhm.
have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fortunate that I have a contractor who lives with me, but he's old and and he's listening to this podcast right now and saying, she just called me
Oh,
old. But he's wonderful and he fixes everything. I'm appreciative.
he's
And he
the
cooks
best.
too, so that's a bonus.
He takes good care of my sister. That wins him a lot of points.
Really, really. Well, good advice. Good advice.
Yes, yes.
And so Earth Day is coming up on the
Hmm.
22nd, and we're
It's
going to share some
actually
stuff about Earth Day. And I'll let you start, Priscilla, because this has been
okay.
your exciting topic. You
Yeah.
couldn't wait for Earth Day.
Yeah, this is the one that had me real jazzed up. I think it's actually isn't Sunday actually Earth Day, so people will be
Well,
listening.
Monday is the 22nd, and I think it's the
Is it?
22nd. Sunday, tomorrow, or Saturday, Sunday is the
Yes,
21st.
you're right. I thought that before, and then in my brain I corrected
It's
it to
our
Sunday,
brother
which is wrong.
Scott's birthday Sunday, just in case you
That's
forgot
right.
that.
Oh goodness, maybe we need to buy him some pettit fours or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, so Monday, yeah, so if you're listening to this on Sunday, tomorrow is Earth Day, and you need to follow all our instructions. You can try some of these things. How about that? We got a lot of information from earthday.org, and if you want to learn more, you can definitely go to earthday.org and you will find out a ton of stuff. There's all kind of stuff on there, but here is some of the key things. I could talk about this all day, so this gets dangerous. So we're gonna try and stick to our list of items. But so let's start in historically. Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970. So a long time ago. 50 something years ago, 53 years ago. Is that accurate?
Sounds about right.
So
Almost 54.
it's been a while. So
Yeah.
it's been around for a while. And it's marked by millions of people around the world celebrate Earth Day in an annual event designed to shine light on the serious environmental problems that we're facing, from the climate crisis to air pollution and deforestation. And it was the brainchild of U.S. Senator and environmentalist Gaylord Nelson following a 1969 oil spill in Santa Barbara, California. He came up with the idea of having college teach-ins to highlight the importance of clean air and water, and with April 22nd chosen as a convenient date between spring break and finals. Yeah.
That's
And,
funny.
and then the organizers just decided um, to name it Earth Day, and the first day event that they had in 1970, leading to an astonishing 20 million people across the United States
Wow.
taking to the streets around 10% of the country's population at the time. The event undoubtedly had a major impact with President Richard, I can't talk today, Richard Nixon, not Richard. Richard, Richard Nixon creating the Environmental Protection Agency just months later in December of 1970, as well as the signing of the Clean Air Act. And then Earth Day later became an international campaign in 1990 when the environmental activists asked one of the original organizers, Dennis Hayes, to help create another event to spotlight the ecological changes facing our planet. And I remember that. I remember in 1990, it was a big deal. Like, I remember hearing about Earth Day. That's my first recollection of Earth Day,
Yeah, yeah,
1990.
it's just amazing. I'm just blown away by the 20 million, 10%
Mhm.
of the people in the United States taking part of it. So it's kind of inspiring to know that, I mean, 10% is not a lot, but when you consider that people have to step out of their comfort zone and stand
Mhm.
up for something they believe in, 10% is a decent number. It really is.
Mhm.
And
And
so it's heartwarming to know that that many people care about our
well,
planet.
that was in 1970.
Yeah, and it's more what's the word I'm looking for? Predominant or more prevalent now
Mhm.
than back then. So I'd wonder what the numbers are today.
Yeah, it's got to be much higher. There's more of us.
Yep.
Population has increased.
Well, the current issues focused on by earthday.org are eliminating single-use plastics, and we're going to talk a lot about that,
Mhm.
sustainable fashion, reforestation, climate education, and global cleanup. And earthday.org offers tons of educational articles, learning materials, quizzes, and helpful resources for making the earth better for future generations. So if you're homeschooling your kids and you need some good info, go there and look. Or if you need some ideas for projects or things you can do with your family, definitely check out earthday.org. Very good
Mhm.
resource.
Mhm.
But what can we do, Press? Little old us, what can we do to help?
Well, everybody, by now, everybody in the world has probably heard reduce, reuse, recycle, or at
Okay, but
least
you have to sing
reduce, reuse, recycle.
it.
I don't know.
Once you sang it last week, you can't get away with not singing
I
it
know.
today.
But, well, at least in first world countries, everybody better have heard it, right?
Right.
So, and it's hard in capitalist societies where our theme is actually produce, purchase, and purge, right? Look, I alliterated. You like that?
I like that. Was that yours or did you steal that from somebody?
Well, I came up with it. I can't claim that nobody else has ever come up with it because it's pretty specific. So if they did and they trademarked it, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. So it came from my own brain. But it's true. I have Amazon Prime. I'm not going to be dishonest. I have Amazon Prime and I'm ordering stuff all the time because I need things and whatnot. But there's still stuff you can do, and you
Well,
know, even
and
if
I think too, using Amazon Prime is a great way to, using digital resources is a great way to shop too, because you're not burning fuel to go to the store.
that's true.
And you are also being mindful, you can look for more products that are environmentally safe. And
Mhm.
so don't criticize yourself for ordering online because it's actually a good thing. So the first one is reduce, and that's all about us being more mindful when we're making purchases,
Mhm.
and accumulating less junk will mean that we're less tempted to put it in the trash later. And then the next thing on the list for reduce, Priscilla, why don't you go ahead and share that
Okay.
one?
The next one is you can purchase consumable products like food, beverages, dish and laundry soaps, hygiene products, blah, blah, like shampoo and that kind of thing, and hand soap in more recyclable containers. Most of the time when you think of more recyclable, you think glass, cardboard. A lot of, you don't get a lot of shampoo and stuff in that kind of container, obviously. But there are better containers that are coming, they're more sustainable. And also, if you have a recycling program in your area, most of them more than likely limit to recyclable plastics 1 and 2. And so if you find the little triangle with the arrows, that is the recycling symbol. In the middle, there's a number. And if you look for 1s and 2s, then you know if you can recycle it, if those are the ones in your area. Some places, like for a while, we had recycling picked up on our sidewalk. We'd put it out on the curb and they'd pick it up. And we lost our recycling program. And now the new recycling program that just started last Saturday, you have to go, you can pay extra to get pickup at your house and they'll come and get it, but it's a little pricey. But you can go for free and drop it all off on a Saturday at the recycling center, but they only take recyclable plastics 1 and 2. Whereas what I had mentioned, I think previously one time in a hot sauce or something, I had all these bags of recycling and I went through all of my bags of plastic and sorted them. So all the 1s and 2s, because I knew they were only taking 1s and 2s, I put those in bags separate and I made one garbage bag, one large garbage bag of anything 3 and up plastics. And that's all I had though, out of the many bags, many bags of recyclable plastic. So that was refreshing to see that the majority of my plastics were 1s and 2s already. There's what I noticed is most lids of plastic lids on things are not going to be 1 or 2. They're probably a 5 or a 7. And 5s and 7s, you see a lot of 5s and 7s in like plastic takeout containers from restaurants, although some restaurants you might have a 5 lid on a 1 bottom, so you can recycle half of it. So being mindful of those numbers when you purchase, you can be ahead of the game and you can be purchasing products that are more likely to be recycled. So that's a good way to be proactive.
Yeah, it's a shame it's so expensive to recycle because even
Hmm.
our church is involved in the glass recycling through Glass Half Full in New Orleans.
Hmm.
And it's a wonderful project because they recycle glass waste into sand and gravel that's used for disaster relief and prevention, coastal restoration, eco
Hmm.
construction, new glass products, and a lot more. So check out glasshalffull.co when you get a chance. It's a great organization and we support it. But we have been thankful for the donations that we're getting at our church in the bins, but we have to keep purchasing additional bins and
Hmm.
paying the monthly fee for the additional bins. And so now we're asking some of the folks that use the recycle bins regularly to help donate toward the
Hmm.
cost of the bins. And if they don't, I'm sure the church will pick up the expense, but it's just a shame that it is expensive to recycle, but it's so worth it. And we need to get some more nonprofits established to help with that kind of stuff. The next thing on the list for reducing is to purchase consumable products packaged in containers that are made from recycled material. So
Hmm.
that's a great opportunity there. And you can look for that type of stuff. It's not available readily in retail stores. Some of them, maybe. I bet
Yeah, it
Whole
all
Foods has
depends.
some stuff. But yeah, but you can look for that type of product online for sure.
Yeah, you could probably search for, you know, what shampoos are made in recyclable containers, etc., and make yourself like a grocery list kind of the better ones. That's one way to find them.
Yeah.
Because companies who are mindful about that stuff want people to know because they know it means something to people. They're not dumb. And they will, hopefully they're being genuine and they're really doing the recycling and the sustainable packaging. But they will have that information out there so that the people who want it can find it. Another thing you can do is to change what kind of containers, not just to change the the packaging that you're buying, but to change what kind of stuff is in it. And one thing you can do is to opt for powders or other forms of soaps or whatever, rather than the liquids that have to be in a plastic bottle. So one thing I've done is to get I have started using a powdered laundry detergent, which I had started, I don't even know why I started using the liquid a long time ago and got in the habit of buying the liquid. And so having that liquid, I was using all these big jugs and now, now I use a big box.
Pull it together.
So yeah, and I tell you what, the one big box, it has like 145 servings or whatever you call it of
Servings.
washes, for the laundry. So, and it's really lasted me for a long time. And so that's really cool. And then the cardboard is recyclable. So then, I feel good about that. One thing I forgot to
I never
include
even
on,
thought about that because we used to use
yeah.
powdered laundry detergent too, but then we went with liquid, and I'm not sure why. I guess because of the dispenser in
Mm,
our washing machine is very tiny and
mm,
it calls for liquid. It doesn't call
mm,
for I wonder how that works. I wonder if we could use powder
mm,
in there. I know we use powder laundry detergent to clean our dishwasher and to clean the washing machine.
mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
mm.
And I forgot to add on this list, and I'll just say it now, interject. I we both got reusable shopping bags,
Oh,
and
for
that's
sure.
something
Yeah.
good to do. I can't believe I left that off, but there it
Oh,
is.
that's okay. Yeah, it was so funny. We've gotten so accustomed to using the recycle or the reusable grocery bags, and we love it because we have the Walmart app that we do to scan and go, and we can put the stuff in the bags as we scan it. And then when
Hmm.
we get to the checkout, all we have to do is scan the code and hit pay and leave. And you don't have to wait for your groceries to be bagged. You're not wasting plastic bags that can't be easily recycled. And but the other day we went to Winn-Dixie and we were walking into the store, and I said to Olivia, I don't even know if they let you bag your own stuff here. And so
Mm,
we stopped in the middle of the parking lot and went through the whole thing of checking the website and finding out that we could use our reusable bags. And then we went to Walmart and I left the reusable bags in the car and made Love go back out to the car and get them. I'm like, it's good for the planet. Go get the bags.
there you go.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying that and I'm thankful we can do that. We get so many like canvas and plastic coated bags for free at conferences and things like
Hmm.
that. And to me, that's wasteful. What are you going to do with that? And so this is an awesome way to reuse those bags. So I go into Walmart and I have bags from coffee companies and from conferences I spoke at or went to, and from donating money to a children's organization. So I got a tote with a kid's picture on it. And then mom donated money to some type of
Hmm.
charity and they sent her a beautiful bag with wildflowers on it. So I have all these different bags in my back of my car that we're able to use for all that good stuff. I love it. So the next one is to purchase entertainment. And I've touched on this very briefly, such as movies, music, and games digitally. And
Oh, and
we do
books.
that. Oh, books too. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're purchasing digitally, there's no packaging, there's no paper to be printed on, there's no
Mhm.
plastic disc that can't be recycled. Perfect way to do things
Yeah.
before
I
eating them.
recently I saw an article about Billie Eilish was kind of speaking out on that, saying, that vinyl has come back into fashion. Having a record player and buying albums is like back. It's like hip or whatever. Whatever the cool kids say. And and the thing that a lot of artists are doing is they're creating a variety of packaging for the same album on vinyl. So they might have different themed vinyl that you can buy. And of course, in order to have that, so that there's multiple options for the consumers, they have to do a whole bunch of albums. And what happens when they don't sell? You know, it's just more product sitting on the shelf. And
Yeah.
Billie Eilish was complaining about that and saying, she gets pushed to do stuff like that too. And she doesn't think it's responsible for the environment.
Good for
You know.
her. Yay, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, one other thing we didn't mention is that you should go paperless with your bills and
Mm,
accounts and all.
mm-hmm.
Anything that you get in the mail that you get hard copy, go
True.
paperless if you can.
Mm-hmm.
It drives me insane because the company that holds our mortgage will not let us go paperless. And they send me a statement every month. And I asked AJ, I said, do we get these? Because he pays the bill online. It actually comes out of our checking account automatically. But he said he thought that the statements were on there. So we shredded all of our statements from the last few years and got rid of them all. And then we discovered they weren't online. So it was like, oh, well, but I mean, why? What's wrong with that? And the funny thing about it is that there's a box on the bill that you can check when you go to pay it that says go paperless.
Uh-huh.
But I called them and I said, how do we go paperless if I want to avoid mailing this back to you with the check box because I pay my bill through the online platform? How can I tell you that I want to go paperless without doing that? And the lady said, as far as what? And I said, well, I want to go paperless. I want y'all to stop sending me these statements. She said, oh, we don't have a program for that. I said, why would you have go paperless on your bill
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't allow me to go paperless? But
There was
uh,
somebody, yeah.
uh, it's also, I mean, going paperless saves you a lot of other ways too, because do you know how many folders I had to create to put bills in? And now they're electronic folders on my computer,
Mm-hmm.
and we save everything whenever AJ pays all the bills. Because he had been prior, like 4 or 5 years ago, we would pay a bill and we would print the receipt and then I would file it in the folder. And one of my friends, shout out to Lola, the organizer lady. I think she's wonderful. I've talked about her before. Lola suggested going paperless, and she said it saves the environment because you're not wasting paper, but it also makes your life so much easier because you don't have a stack of papers to file every few months. You never, I don't know about y'all, but I don't ever take the time to file paperwork.
Hardly ever, like it
It goes in a
piles up for a
basket.
year and I end up at the end of the year filing. And the only reason
Same.
it's not a ton is because my sister told me what Lola said.
Yeah. So now we're in the other thing is we went paperless like for medical insurance purposes, but for some reason I still get tons of papers from the insurance company
Hmm.
that talk about the claims processes. And it drives me crazy. It's like, why couldn't they just send this via email? I know we're paperless as far as paying the bill. Why can't they do paperless for everything? So I'm not sure what the deal is. And the other thing is when you go to the doctor, A lot of times they send you out of the office with printed copies of the after visit report if you go to a clinic like us. And so you should ask them before they even leave the room, are you going to send an after visit report? And if so, can we do it digitally? Because I walked out of a test that I had done this week with a paper document that was about 8 pages thick, front and
Mhm.
back. And I thought, what a waste of paper. I don't want
Yeah.
pictures of my colon. Seriously.
I do. I'll take them.
I'll share them with you. I will just mention for the record that my doctor said that I had the cleanest colon he had ever seen. I said, well, then I
Nice.
don't feel so bad about all the nasty prep I had to go through. So there.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of companies where they offer perks if you go paperless
That's
too, because
awesome.
it saves the money. Like, who was it? Verizon, I think. I think I saved money in my Verizon bill
I
by
think
going
so too.
paperless
I
because
think,
their bill was like 8 pages or 9 pages long.
yeah,
They print everything every time. So you can the company saves money, you save a stamp, and then you save space. So
it
that's a
kills me
treat.
at Christmas time when we get like, and I know that used to be a thing, the Sears catalog and all. But
Oh
when you
yeah.
get all these catalogs at Christmas time from fruit companies and all these,
Hmm.
yeah, all these companies that are selling baskets of goodies and fruit of the month and this, that, and the other. Oh my goodness, that's too much paper. And I don't buy any of that stuff because we do all gift lists. Our
Hmm.
family does the Amazon gift lists and we wish lists and we just buy things from each other's wish lists. So I don't ever look at a catalog. It goes straight into the trash. Makes me nuts.
Mm. Yeah.
There's got to be a way that we can unsubscribe from that kind of stuff too. And I think there
Yeah.
is, but I'm not sure. I think there's like a code on the catalog. You can go and put the code in and tell it to
Oh,
stop sending you that kind of stuff. So I'm going
yeah.
to have to start being more cognizant of that. What's the next thing on the list, Priscilla, to
The next
recycle?
one is and it
Oh,
is the
we're
last one.
reducing. I'm sorry. We're reducing.
It's the last one for reducing and is to buy refurbished items. Like, if you go to buy a used car that's been fixed up, if you need a new iPhone, Apple and through the different phone companies, you can purchase refurbished iPhones. You can buy refurbished computers, laptop computers, and stuff like that. And it's cheaper than buying brand new. So you save money. Plus, you're buying an already existing computer and not because, it's supply and demand. So the less demand there is for new stuff, then the less that needs to be made.
The next portion is all about reuse. And the first item on our list for reuse is use containers from other items for a new purpose. And Priscilla recently used some jugs that we had, or I guess they're like barrels, the plastic barrels
Yeah.
filled with cheese balls. She's been using those for storing her cat food. So that's a
Hmm.
really good recycling use or reuse of a product or container. I actually was saving for the longest time M&M containers because we buy these plastic uh, canisters filled with M&Ms and we go through maybe one a month or so. And I was saving the M&M containers in my garage and I had gotten to where I had like 30 of them. Had in my head that I was going to do something amazing with these containers and never did. But I didn't have the heart to try. They were not ones or twos. So I knew they could not be easily recycled. But you know what I did? I posted in our neighborhood group and I said, are there any teachers or anyone that can make use of these plastic containers. And I took a picture of one and I said, I have a bunch. And two ladies in our neighborhood, one who homeschooled her kids and the other who was a third grade, I think, teacher, both messaged me back and or messaged me privately and said, I want those containers. And the one lady said she only needed five. So I gave her the five she needed, and the yellow lady took the rest. And she was so excited. She said, I'm going to use these in my classroom. These are going to be great. We have all these little small toys that we need to sort. And she said, it'll be great for us. And so I got to reuse them in that way. And that was a good thing.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we always were saving stuff because it looked like something good when we were younger.
I know.
You
Well,
know?
mom did a lot of scrap
Yeah.
craft. You remember
Yeah.
that?
Yep. That's another thing you can another way to reuse is to make crafts out of things.
Yeah, piggy banks for kids out of M&M containers or
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah, there are a lot of things you can do with them.
Yeah. Another thing you can do if you are a composter, you can, or you want to learn how to compost, you can do composting on a really small scale if you don't have like if you don't want to do like the big bins that they put outside. If you don't have a lot of food waste to compost, then you can do it really small, and you can use those scraps, those food scraps, and create a fertilizer for your plant beds or for your grass. If your grass is dying from the heat in the summer or whatever, you can make a little treat for your earth.
I feel like what's food waste because we don't ever waste any food and
Eat it all.
we eat everything.
For when you buy too many fruits and vegetables and you don't get to use them before they go,
That's
that's
true. We do have that issue occasionally where we'll have that one banana that no one wanted.
the poor
I'm
unwanted
I'm
banana.
usually the one that eats the rotten food because I like everything super ripe. I put my cantaloupe in a bag waiting for it to get ripe, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Or the avocados, it's like, not yet, not yet, now, eat it now. And then the next day it's gone. Timing is everything.
You know what else you can do to reuse?
Well,
Reuse other people's stuff. Go to the thrift store and shop there and use other people's good stuff. You know, one
mm,
man's trash is another man's treasure.
yep.
Find some good stuff. My kids used to hit the thrift sale at their school and they would bring home items that I was like, when am I ever going to use this item? But
Oh,
my children were so proud of
mm,
themselves that they found a good sale on
hmm.
something. So I would try to figure out how to use it and hold on to it forever, then donate it back to the same to the same thing the next year. Oh, the school's having a thrift. Let's donate this.
Uh, oh, kids at a yard sale is almost the same thing as kids at the Scholastic Book Fair. They come home and there's no books. It's like, look, I bought this calculator that's shaped like a chocolate bar.
Oh,
I
it's
brought this
it's
light
so
up
true.
ball.
It's so true. So Livia and I were talking the other day about some of the stuff that we were cleaning up out of I don't know, one of the closets or something. And she said, Mom, don't throw that away. Joey might like it. And I said, Well, I'll tell you what. I said, I really don't think Aunt Priscilla wants this at her house, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the garage sale stuff. And when we have our garage sale, the Bobbins will be here and we'll tell Clover and Joey, help yourselves. Before the doors open, help yourself. Shop.
That's like I do to AJ.
Use all your Aunt Tina points and shop for goodies. Yeah. That's awesome.
They can trade with him for tools and stuff. Well, the next one is adopt, don't shop. So you're reusing your pets. Don't we can reduce pet overpopulation by adopting a pet that already exists rather than going to breeders. And I know you're probably thinking, well, the breeder's already bred the puppies, but the more puppies they breed to sell, the more they're going to breed to sell. So
Correct.
if we put out a clear message of, we're only rescuing the ones who need rescuing. We're not shopping for new pets every time from puppy or kitten. And if you want a young animal, there are plenty of them that need rescuing that are young, that are not from breeders. So
Yeah.
just my
Yeah.
little tip. And if you're a breeder and you're getting in your feelings about this, I'm sorry, but it's just true. There are way too many dogs and cats out there that don't have families. You're not doing
Uh,
a great service to anybody by what you're doing. It's
I, I was getting ready to say tomorrow is Crazy Cat Lady Day, so I'm gonna have to send you a card or something for all your feral cats.
oh, my numbers are dwindling though. It's kind of sad.
Oh,
I'm using less
maybe
cat food though.
maybe some other cat lady has taken over your
I
feral
think
cat
they stole my
colony.
cats.
That's just rude. That is just rude.
But however, I'll say this, I would rather another crazy cat lady steal my cats than think it's the coyotes who are doing it. So
Mm.
we'll just we'll just hope and pray that it's not the coyotes, that it's another kind person who's willing to spend money on cat food.
Well, I wanted to add to the pet adoption, the rescues, with just reminding you that Sarah Millican says if you rescue a pet, you can get away with your pet's bad behavior just by saying it's a rescue.
Yeah.
You go someplace to the doggy park or whatever, and your dog is barking and you feel embarrassed, just say, I'm sorry, he's a rescue. And people will do the head tilt and say, oh, bless his heart. She also goes on to say that it's too bad we can't say that about our husbands. I'm sorry he was rude. He's a rescue.
You could try it.
I don't know if anybody would fall for that, but
Some might get the joke though.
I love it. We'll have to try
Um,
that. That's so
well,
cute.
we're on our last R.
Ooh,
Is recycle, which is kind of, I mean, a lot of people lump all of them together, and it's true that there's probably ones on our reduce and reuse and recycle lists that are kind of, they crisscross, they could
yeah,
qualify
for
as
sure.
either. But there's still lots of opportunities, so they're all good. But while recycling services don't exist everywhere, there's opportunities in many places. So if you can't access recycling pickup on your curb at your house, there might be centers or stores that recycle, and you can find them by Googling recycling near me. If you do a search in quotes, recycling near me, it'll usually pull up some list of places that recycle. And you do have to like go to their websites and double check because sometimes the Google search gets a little confused about what your intentions are. So they might give you some options that are things you don't need, but that's the best way to find anything, is doing that little Google search, and it'll get you some information. So the first thing you can do is you can check with your local recycling services and see what can be recycled, like certain numbers of plastic, and then try to shop the brands that use those materials so that so you have items to bring to the recycling. And like I was saying about in our neighborhood, they're taking certain things. They take the new center is taking glass, cardboard, paper, tin, aluminum, and plastics 1 and 2. So I have to check, I have to go through my stuff and make sure. And you don't want to try and recycle anything with food on it. Make sure your stuff is washed off. Usually the glass places don't worry too much about, or even the plastic, they don't worry about the labels so much as make sure there's no food on things like grease. That really messes stuff up for them. So they can't especially like pizza boxes. If
Mhm.
you get a pizza box and it's like lined and you can throw that liner away and there's no grease in the box, then you can recycle it. Although some places are like, no, no pizza boxes whatsoever, and they'll throw them out. But you definitely want to make sure you don't put anything greasy or sticky in there. So you want to kind of give them a good rinse off. And what I do with a lot of mine is I use Dawn Power Wash because it's very good as a degreaser. And I just give them a spray and let them sit for a little while, and then I rinse them off. And usually they're pretty squeaky clean, and then I throw them in the bin. So, and get it ready because I gotta take them somewhere now. I can't just put it out anymore, but it's a step I'm willing to make because I feel empowered to do it.
Well, so then the other thing is, I was going to mention one thing related to that, and I think you touched on it earlier. Once you find out what your recycling places in your area take, then when you're doing your shopping, you can be more mindful of what products
Mhm.
you buy. Can I bring this container to a recycle right near
Yeah.
me? But if you don't have a curbside recycling, and going to a recycling place is too far for you to drive, one thing you can do is team up with neighbors so that one you can take turns and do the split up the recycling duties and have
Mhm.
a different neighbor bring the recycling once a week or once a month or whatever. It's a great way to do that.
Yep. Yep. It's like carpooling, but with your recycling.
Yep. Mhm.
Maybe if you're an older person, and you don't drive, there might be somebody who lives near you who would be willing to come by and pick up your stuff and take it for you. You can network on like if you have one of those neighborhood apps like Nextdoor, if you're in there, can probably put a little post and say, "Hey, is anybody going to the recycling center? Would you mind picking up my stuff? I'm not able to go." And a lot of people are kind enough to do that kind of thing. So that's nice. And if you can trade off and take turns, it makes it's mutually beneficial, for you and other people. Another thing, this is the reverse of our one talking about going thrift shopping. We can do the opposite and donate our unused items rather than just putting them in the garbage. So there's lots of charities you can donate to. Everybody knows Goodwill and Salvation Army. Also, there's the Vietnam Veterans of America, and they have a pickup service, and it's not available everywhere, but if you go online to pickupplease.org, it's just spelled out pickupplease.org, and make sure you put both P's in there. To see if they're doing curbside by you in your area. And you can put your zip code in and find out. And usually if they are in your area, then they'll have highlighted dates when they will be closer to your house. And once you put your address in and you go to schedule, you'll see on their little calendar certain dates are like blocked out, and that you can tell what it means when you see it, that those are the days they're definitely going to be close to you. And so try to pick a date that they're going to be near you. But you don't have to, I think they let you pick any date, but they prefer you to do it when they're going to be close. And then you set that date and put some reminders on your phone, and then you start gathering your stuff up. You put it out. I do it very frequently. I just did a whole load of like 4 bags and 4 boxes a couple of weeks ago, and they take a lot of stuff. They have their guidelines on the website, so you can check that before you put your stuff out. Make sure that you're not putting out anything they can't handle, like really large furniture and stuff like that. I will say I put a filing cabinet, a short one that's only 2 drawers, out, and they didn't take it. I think it's because it was too heavy. It was an old one, so it was real, heavy metal. But then the garbage man took it. And I was like, oh no, oh well. That's another thing to know too, is if you do put a donation out for them, try to schedule it on a day when you don't have trash pickup so there's no mistakes. So the garbage people don't accidentally take your donations. And you can schedule for a certain location by your house. So if you want to say, I'm putting this on my porch, or I'm putting this in my carport or driveway or whatever, so you can kind of avoid any confusion that way too. Like
Yeah,
I always mark that I'm putting it in my driveway, and then I'll put it all the way to the one side so I can still back my car out when I leave, and that way I'm not running over it, but it's not on the sidewalk or the curb where it's obstructing anything or getting confused for garbage. So
yeah, yeah. That's a good idea. We've done that with a few things as well. And there's a take back clothing program at trashy with an IE dot IO. So TRASHIE dot IO. What you do is you buy take back bags from the website and use them to ship your clean and unwanted clothing and other apparel, towels, linen, shoes, etc. back to trashy.io. When you recycle 15 pounds of items, they give you $30 in trashy cash. I love that. To use on environmentally responsible products offered on their website, including name brands like Levi and Reebok. How
mhm,
cool is that? Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was reading this earlier, and we recycle our clothing all the time too, but we have enough people in the family and friends community that if I say, hey, I just lost 20 pounds and
mhm,
have gone into a different size, does anybody want all of my clothes that are size this? And I have enough people that, yeah, we'll take
mhm,
them. We'll take them. So, and it was so funny. One of Liv's friends took some of my dresses, and I said, I have men's clothes too. Do you know? And she said, oh, yes. I have several friends that would probably, because AJ lost a lot of weight. So that was kind of cool. So I said, well, look, if you end up where they won't, you friends won't take them, give them back to me because I want to make sure they get to a new home and they don't just get
mhm.
put in the trash.
Yeah,
So yeah, really good
that's
stuff. I
awesome.
love this though. Trashy,
Yep.
trashy cash.
Trashy cash. Yeah, I don't know exactly how much $30 or trashy cash gets you as far as the products and stuff, but I saw all kind of stuff on their website. Everything not, and it's not just all apparel, there's like skincare and all kind of stuff. So it's
That's
pretty cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll
And
put
another
the
thing,
link to that in our show notes too.
cool. Yeah. Yep. And there's also, if you have like electronical things and accessories for the electronics, I can't talk about. Best Buy does a lot of recycling of that kind of thing, and they have lists on their website, and it is sort of regional. You can go on there and it'll ask, you can, if you can find, you gotta search on there and find where they're in um their information is on the recycling, but once you're in there, there's an opportunity, I think, at least it was last time I went on there, to put in your zip code and find their locations and what items you can take there. And um, they'll have bins out in the front, in that front section that you walk between the first set of doors and the second set of doors. Sometimes in that first section, there'll be bins for like old cords and cables and stuff like that. And so, and I'm not sure all exactly what each place takes. So you have to check, but, and also they have a buyback program for some electronics too. So like if you buy a new laptop and you still have your old laptop and it's still working, you could get cash for it. You could get Best Buy credit for it, and then put that credit toward software or whatever for your new one if you have a new one. So or buying a new one if you haven't bought the new one yet. We've done that where we brought two old laptops that were defunct in. They were still working, but they were not much use anymore because of, um, what is that called? Planned obsolescence. So then we had to go and buy a new computer, but we used the two we turned in to save a whole lot of money on the new one. So it's win-win.
There you go. That's awesome. I looked into recycling some of our old technology, computers, phones, and all, because we keep ending up with my husband collects things from other people and brings them home to see if he can fix them. And then they end up in my cabinets in my den. And so I said, I want to get rid of all this technology, but we're afraid to give it away because of what might still be existing data on it. And so I had looked into getting somebody to take them and wipe them clean. And this one guy said, oh, I do it. But he was going to charge me $50 per device just to wipe them clean.
Mm,
And I said, I can't afford to do that. And then you hear the
yeah.
stories, well, you can take the hard drive out in the yard and hit it with a hammer or put it in a bucket of water. Or you hear all these different stories. But I have watched CSI too many times to know that
Yep.
you think that hard drive's clean and it's not, and people can get your information off of it. So you really need a technology company that knows what they're doing to clean those things off. And it needs to be a trustworthy service. And I kind of sort of accidentally stumbled on one. The name of it, and I think it's only in Louisiana. So I'm sorry if you're listening and you're from out of state, but it's called STS Electronic Recycling. And there's a branch in Baton Rouge and there's one in New Orleans, and they will come to you and pick up anything you have. And so I had looked into it thinking we could do it for the church, but we have some computers at church, but we're not quite ready to let those go yet. We want to make sure we have all the data we need off of them. But I'm definitely going to do it for myself. And I told the guy I would even be willing to drive this stuff to them so they didn't have to come to me, even if I have to go to Baton Rouge. But they will actually clean all the data off, make sure it's wiped clean, and they're a trustworthy company. Apparently, they've gotten some really good reviews and they work with schools and businesses. So they need to be trustworthy in order to do that. And they recycle everything and they make sure that it's done in a way that's environmentally friendly. And so I'm all for them. STS Electronic Recycling. I was trying to remember the name of it, and I'm thankful I was able to find it pretty quickly. But I'll put that in the show notes too, in case you're local and you want to check them out. And then you can also recycle old batteries to either through a battery company or with other recycling opportunities. I'm trying to
Mhm.
remember. I thought I saw a battery recycling like at Sam's, but I
Mm,
might be wrong about that. But there were, or maybe it's Costco. But check around, like Priscilla said, and you can
yeah.
Google it. That's how I
Google
found
battery recycling. Yeah.
STS. Was I Googled free recycling of technology,
Mm,
and I actually conversed with the guy from the company. I said, I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. If I give you all my technology, you're insured and you're not going to let the data get leaked. And he said, no, ma'am, we have all these processes and guidelines and it's all good.
nice.
So if you Google it, whatever you're trying to recycle, chances are there's somebody that will take it by you.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
I think the most recent time I recycled batteries, I think was when there was sometimes in your community, whether it's your county or your parish, if you live in Louisiana, there might be what they call a hazardous materials roundup, and they'll take like old batteries, paint, other chemicals, household chemicals and stuff that you're not using so that you don't put it down the drain or in the trash. And that's a really good opportunity to get rid of things responsibly, like that are could be dangerous or hazardous, environmentally. And they can take care of it for you. And it's usually the ones that they have here tend to be um every couple of years they'll have one closer to me, because there's one that happens nearer to me and one that happens across the river from me, and I don't go to the one across the river, but I think they alternate. So I've been eagerly awaiting them to do another one because I have a whole box of stuff. A lot of times they don't take like um the car fluids and stuff, like old oil or old um like power steering fluid or whatever, if you have a car buff in the family who has, you know, accumulated those things. And so I have a shelf full of car fluids I'll never use for anything, and I don't know what to do with them. So I'm hoping to find an opportunity to responsibly eliminate those, if not, get somebody who can use them. So if anybody knows of a program in Louisiana where you can get rid of your car fluids in containers, let me know.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. You can also, Lowe's has a recycling or responsible, you know, program to take care of old light bulbs out front of their store. They usually have like bins you can put your fluorescent bulbs and stuff, so that you're not putting that out in the environment and getting the stuff that's inside of them everywhere. They might also do batteries there. I can't remember, and I couldn't find it real quickly when I was looking into their stuff, but they definitely do the light bulbs. So if you have like I have in my kitchen one of those big fluorescent fixtures that has four long bulbs in it that are like 4 feet long. Um, those are not good to put in the garbage. So when I accumulate a armload of them, I take them to Lowe's and put them in their light bulb bin.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, yeah. And just a reminder that if you can't find a place to recycle, you can reuse some items. So look
Mhm.
for ways if you have an item that you can't recycle, look online on YouTube. There are lots of videos on how you can reuse products
Mhm.
or items in your home, and you
Mhm.
can get some ideas from that.
Yeah, even taking the plastic and melting it down into stuff, which is, you have to be very careful, but the videos are interesting.
I'm not crafty, but I might be able to find something.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know that, yeah, crafting, you can do a lot of crafty things if you're crafty. And so what else can we do to help with the earth, and that isn't recycling necessarily, or reusing, or reducing? One thing we can do is to donate our monies and our own wealth, that if we have some, especially if you're using the recycling programs like Glass Half Full, try to give back financially, because they have overhead, they have need, you know, to do the processing that they do. They're not getting it done for free. They have to pay their employees and stuff. So make sure to donate to the recycling programs in your area. And also, like, excuse me, reforestation efforts. You can pay for a tree to be planted and know that you're helping the environment that way. So that's cool.
Yeah, you could give a gift of having a tree planted in somebody's
Hmm.
honor. That would be cool. Yeah. And you can also give of your time by volunteering for local cleanup days. We're having one this weekend at our church. After service on Sunday, a group of our members are going to be cleaning the area around our church in Lakeview, which is a part of New Orleans. And so we're excited about that. We've done it twice before, and it was a lot of fun. There's a
Hmm.
lot of trash to be picked up, but it beautifies the neighborhood, and um, it's a great way to give back to the community. Just
Y'all
a
could make a
wonderful
game of
opportunity.
it. Who picks up the most trash? That's the
Yeah,
contest.
I was kind of like, I was the photographer last time, and so I ran from one end of where we were picking up trash to the other end. I got a lot of exercise that day. The neighbors were very appreciative. I had taken some pictures and put them in the neighborhood group, and a lot of people were tickled by it and thankful.
Mm,
And we weren't alone. We teamed up with two other churches. So it was three churches of people. It was wonderful.
nice. That's a
Yeah,
good way to be social too.
it is. It is.
Multitasking. Be social and save the world. Another thing you can do is you can go online on your different social networks like Facebook, X, I guess it's called now, Instagram, etc. And you can search out and people who speak up for the environment, advocates for environmental change and sustainable packaging. You search all those keywords. You can search hashtags, and most places will hashtag their stuff. And you can, when you look in there, you can look at groups or pages that are related to recycling or saving the environment and stuff like that, using those types of keywords like sustainable and recyclable and Earth Day. You probably, if you go on and you type Earth Day in there, you probably find a lot of people posting for this weekend and getting ready for Earth Day, and you'll be able to see who you can follow that will keep you up to date on all of this stuff and learn more, because a lot of them will share about, hey, this company has sustainable packaging, or this company is really environmentally responsible, so it's good to keep up with them. They'll keep you on your toes about it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the last thing, I think, no, it's not the last thing on our list. An additional thing you can do is to search online and educate yourself about products that are more environmentally sustainable and about companies that are more environmentally responsible, and then patronize those companies and buy those products. You want to support the sustainability of our planet by doing these responsible things.
Mm-hmm. And then if you want to get real crazy, you can start a letter writing campaign to your government officials, but try to be specific, because if you just send them something to say, we need to save our planet, they're just gonna write you off,
Right.
If you have a specific cause, like we really need to get recycling back in Jefferson Parish, for example, and especially if you have ideas you can share that are usable and not just a generic, hey, do something about this, try to be real specific. Or, if you want to encourage them to support a program that already exists, or look into a program for something specific, give them a holler. A lot of times there's ways to even online send them a letter without writing it on paper and using a stamp.
There you go. And also make sure you tell your friends and relatives and neighbors, everyone you know, what you are doing to be more environmentally conscious, because being a good role model to other people and an ally to the earth will inspire other people to do the same. So one person can get the ball rolling.
Yep.
Like we said around the campfire, it only takes a spark to get the fire going.
But give a hoot. Don't pollute.
Don't pollute. I'm excited now. You got me all pumped up for Earth Day. I'm going to have to go pull some of our pictures that from the different things that we've done at our church to put on our Facebook page for Earth Day. I think that would be a fun little thing that I could do for our social media that day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I'm
thankful that we're part of a congregation and have a pastor that is environmentally conscious and encouraging us to do all these things, right?
Yeah.
And our church is supportive of it. We have lots of wonderful people in our church that are willing to work for a cause.
Yes.
I have to say that.
Very generous.
We say we are collecting sheets for Unity of Greater New Orleans. It kills me that I never got my sheets together, but there'll be another drive. I know there will. But if you have a church that is active like that, it's such a blessing to be able to help in that way. And if you don't, and you're in the New Orleans area, look us up and we'll help you get started.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. My marinade for today It's funny because your hot sauce was something you learned from somebody who's providing a service for you, right? With
Uh-huh.
your renovations. My marinade is very similar. It's something I learned from a person that is doing a service for me, my physical therapist.
Oh.
And so some of you may remember that last week I talked about getting physical therapy for my jaw. I think I mentioned it on one of the episodes because I fell and hit my face and it knocked my jaw out of whack. But I am getting physical therapy for that. And this morning I went to physical therapy and I was just blown away by my therapist. And the conversation we got into was so deep. And he and I were talking about how you go through these seasons in your life where all these terrible things are happening. And he shared, I won't share his personal business, but he shared some things that have happened in his life and how close they were time wise in proximity. And I shared with him how it always seems like it works that way. I said, in 2012, when my son was burned in a terrible fire and spent 9 months in the hospital, he was in the hospital when we lost our house in Hurricane Isaac. And then in 2018, when my husband was in the hospital battling infection and cancer, was when our son died. And so it's like the things that are happening happen in multiples, and it's very difficult. But even if they're not happening in multiples, people everywhere are going through struggles in their lives, and it's very difficult. And whether it's not a physical scar or it could be an emotional scar. I remember when my son passed away after he had been burned in that terrible fire and he had survived another 6 years after that. He had these terrible scars. And I can remember looking at him one day and just crying because I thought, my poor baby, he's so scarred up. And when he passed away, I remember thinking to myself, he's free. He's free of all the scars of this
Mhm.
earthly life, internally, emotionally, because he was very emotionally tormented over some things. But also physically, right? And my therapist said this morning, he said, I kind of feel like it's like the scars that Jesus had after the crucifixion, and he showed Thomas his nail scarred hands and feet. And he said, I feel like once those scars heal, they are the light for other people to see that you got through this
Mhm.
terrible ordeal, right? And it was just so poignant. And it meant a lot to me that he was willing to share that with me. And I so agreed with him. I remember telling PJ he was struggling with his scarred body at one point, and he said, "No woman is ever going to want me because look at my body, how scarred it is." And I said, "Those are your warrior badges. Those are your proof that you could do anything." And so, anyway, I wanted to share that because you have no idea how what you're going through can impact other people, and how your
Mhm.
scars, once the wounds are healed and those scars are there and people are aware of them, they will look at that as encouragement and light to continue persevering when they're going through difficulty. So I thought that was just a really beautiful thing to have a physical therapist talk to me about this morning. I'm
Yeah.
like,
He does more
maybe this is
therapy
like
than physical,
partially, I'm sorry, what?
more than just physical therapy there.
Right? That's what I'm saying. It was like going through to an emotional therapist as well. But yeah, he and I kind of bonded over that. It was really cool. And my jaw is starting to feel better. It's always sore
Yay.
after therapy, but it's getting there. So next week we'll probably have some great things to talk about. Not sure exactly yet what our topic will be, our meat sauce. However, it is National Dance Day. Maybe we can just dance. We'll put some music on and just dance. Until then, you guys keep dancing and remember to make yourself a priority.
And take care of you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.